Hello, once again, everybody. This is the Mad Professor from the Two Cigars and a Blunt podcast. Comes on Fridays, every Friday. At least we try to do every Friday. 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Followed closely by the Ashed Out After Show podcast, where we just talk a whole bunch of stuff about whatever we want to talk about. And Wednesdays, the Better Than Sex Sports podcast show, which comes on 7 Eastern, 6 Central. And let's quickly talk about the Democratic National Convention, which has been going on for the last couple of days. Um, on yesterday, Michelle and Barack Obama spoke, and of course, they were the headline and keynote speakers of the convention for day two. Um, Barack mostly spoke about Kamala and Tim's upbringing. I mean, they both did, but Barack mostly focused on Tim Walz' upbringing. And he spoke about how Tim Walz was brought up to be a servant of the people and showed how most of his life has been in service to the people, including making fun of his wardrobe. But the speech to me was as good as it was, and Mr. Obama was exactly right. It was kind of difficult to follow up um, Mrs. Michelle Obama's speech, because she said more than a few things about her upbringing and Kamala's upbringing, which were similar, and how their parents, how their mothers in particular, were similar in the way they raised them. But Michelle said something that just blew me the hell away. And it was when she said that Kamala, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember exactly how she put it, but she said that Kamala Harris wasn't born with the affirmative action of generational wealth. Now think about that for a second. The affirmative action of generational wealth. And if you want to think about it, it kind of is affirmative action because it only goes to certain people. Now, it differs, of course, in real affirmative action, that it's not helping underprivileged people or people who have been cast aside by society and, not given the privilege that everyone else has been given. But it does show how Donald Trump was raised. He was raised with the privilege of having wealth that was always going to be there for him, and that was passed down to him. So he's never really worked a hard day in his life, and he's never really worked for the people. Everything he's ever done has been for himself. And it's something funny about this when you think about the last Republicans, the last 3, 4 Republicans. Well, no, let's go back to Nixon. Republicans that were wealthy in their upbringing for the most part. The Bushes are an oil family, are still an oil family. Reagan, he wasn't wealthy in today's money, but his family was fairly well off, and he also served in the military, if I remember right. But he was also an actor, which meant he also had gained a lot of wealth. Nixon was wealthy. Ford was wealthy, although Ford wasn't, elected as president, but he was fairly wealthy. Like I said, it's funny how Republicans always call themselves the party of the people, but the people they generally serve are people like themselves who were born wealthy. While you have Democrats, not all of them, but most of them were, self-made. They didn't get a whole lot of wealth from their parents. A few of them did. I mean, Kennedy's, of course, that name says it all. And I believe Jimmy Carter's family, I know they had a peanut farm that he actually stopped running once he became president. But other than that, most Democrats are raised, I would say, not poor, but they're not well off. So to say that Trump was raised with the affirmative action of generational wealth is just, that's almost, to me, that's better than my asking if Byron Donalds and Tim Scott are the DEI hires of the Republican Party. Because it says something that you have two people who made something of themselves to, but they did it to serve the people. And there are reports coming out. I think it's by the Wall Street Journal, a report rather by the Wall Street Journal, either yesterday or today, that shows that Tim Walz, despite all of his service to the people and despite the elections he's won as senator and governor of Minnesota, his family isn't even worth $400,000. So, I'm not saying that he's not in this to make money, but you see he's in this for the people. You see who it is that he wants to serve, or whom it is he wants to serve. Unlike Trump, he holds closed door meetings with billionaires that always seem to leak out because, of course, he's incompetent. Where he makes promises to these billionaires of what he's going to do for them if he's elected again. So again, he shows you who it is he's working for. And another thing that a lot of people should think about, because it's important, is look who it is that supports Donald Trump. No former president, no former first lady, and granted, on the Republican side, there's only one. There's only one president alive who's a Republican, but even he's not supporting him. His family's not supporting him. That's the Bush family, of course. But the Bush family is not supporting Trump. And it says something that the current president, Joe Biden, the former president, Democratic president, Barack Obama, and the former first lady, Michelle Obama, and Jill Biden, the current first lady, are all supporting Kamala Harris. And in fact, you have a lot of big name Republicans, such as Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia, who's not supporting Donald Trump. You have Donald Trump's own former vice president, Mike Pence, not supporting Donald Trump. And that says something about who this man is and what he's what he's done to and what he's meant to the country, that former supporters of his won't support him this time. So you have to ask yourself who it is, or whom it is. I think it's who. Anyway, you have to ask yourself who it is that Donald Trump is running for. And it's not the people. It's not you. It's not me. It's nobody. It's probably nobody we even know. And it says something that of all the people that supports Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, it's not a bunch of famous people there's famous people, don't get me wrong, but it's not a bunch of famous people that's up there talking for them. It's the little people that knew them growing up, that's making videos for them, that's supporting them, that's raising money for them, that's doing everything to try to get these two elected. And like I said, it just says a lot that all of these people that you and I know are supporting them. And there was one other person that spoke Monday, then I just remembered this. Jasmine Crockett with her V6 instead of her B6 that she had come up with for Marjorie Taylor Greene. She came up with V6, with a V6 phrase for or alliteration for Donald Trump. And it escapes me right now, and I'm so mad that it does, but I can't remember it now, but it was so great. You got to look this up. If I remember it, I'll try to put it in somewhere else. I'm sorry. I just had to pause that video to look up what Jasmine Crockett said. She said, the question before us is, will a vindictive, vile villain violates voters' vision for a better America or not? I mean, she put out another alliteration on someone, and it's another one that's gone viral. I mean, vile villain, a vindictive, vile villain violate voters' vision. Come on, man. It was something else that I noticed about the Democratic National Convention compared to the Republicans is there's a lot of joy and a lot of hope in the air. All the Republicans did was grievance after grievance after grievance, fear after fear after fear. I mean, like I said, the people at the Republican National Convention seem like they were there because they had to be there. People at the Democratic National Convention seem like they want to be there. There seems like that they're thrilled to be there. They're all having a fun time. It's a party, maybe too much of a party with Lil Jon coming out, for the Georgia delegates, but it's a party. And that's something the Republicans don't have, and it's something that they've not had in a long, long time. And I know there are people who are saying, well, the Democrats are just doing this for the young voters. So, what are Republicans doing to court young voters? Nothing. Fear. I mean, Republicans are fear porn fear porn personified. All they have is to tell you that somebody's coming to take what you have, which is a lie, or not give you something you deserve. Again, a lie. But this is just something to talk about.